decision you've ever made in your life?
Get the fuck out of here.
No, it's a good question.
What is this?
What is the worst? Just what is it?
Worst decision I ever made was agreeing to hire you to Benzinga.
Beautiful.
Probably when I sent this guy $5,000 for something that never came.
Carly, what is the worst financial decision you've ever made?
Amongst many, the one that stands out first is when I got scammed by a fake psychic.
How much money did you drop on this fake psychic?
I don't want to talk about it.
What is the worst financial decision you ever made?
Oh, getting married.
Oh, don't say that.
We went to this magic show dinner, and this magician was putting on a show while we had dinner.
Okay.
I thought the magic show sucked, but it still cost me $1,500.
What is your worst financial decision?
Helium miners.
What is the worst financial decision you've ever made?
Come on, you gotta put me in the spotlight. Penny stocks.
Penny stocks?
Yeah, definitely penny stocks.
Okay.
Do you remember when Trump tweeted about Apple back in 2014? He was so mad that iPhone screens weren't as big as Samsung. Trump even sold his shares in Apple because he predicted that their stock would fall. But guess what? Turns out he was dead wrong. If you had invested $1,000 in Apple back then, you would have made a 973.3% return. Apple shares were trading at $451 on the morning of January 28, 2014. The $1,000 investment would be worth $10,733 today. Moral of the story, always do your own research before making investment decisions. Because who is the richest person in the world? Is it A, Elon Musk, B, Bernard Arnault, or C, Mr. Beast? The answer is Bernard Arnault. Bernard Arnault is the richest person in the world, and his net worth is $234.2 billion.
Bombastic side-eye, criminal offensive side-eye, bombastic side-eye, criminal offensive side-eye.
Is LeBron the GOAT? That's still up for debate, but in terms of money, MJ's got him beat. MJ is the undisputed king of cash flow with a mind-blowing $3.3 billion in earnings. Meanwhile, LeBron finds himself at number 6 on the list of richest sports stars. Here are some of the other highest paid athletes of all time. Tiger Woods comes in at number 2 behind MJ with $2.5 billion, followed by fellow golfers Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus, both at around $1.7 billion. Then comes Cristiano Ronaldo at number 5, followed by LeBron James, who holds his own at number 6 with an impressive $1.53 billion. After LeBron, you have Lionel Messi, Floyd Mayweather, Roger Federer, and then Phil Mickelson. So, while LeBron may keep breaking records on the court, Michael Jordan still reigns as the GOAT of the financial game. What do you think?
No one told you life was gonna be this way. The job's a joke, you broke, love life's the old way. It's like you're always stuck in second gear. When it hasn't been your day, week, your month, even your year. But I'll be there.
Disney is suing Florida. Yup, Florida's Don't Say Gay law set fire to a feud between Florida Governor DeSantis and Disney. The entertainment giant is taking legal action in a feud stemming from the state's Don't Say Gay law. Last year, Florida passed the controversial law which bans teaching about sexual orientation and gender identity in early grades. But the former Disney CEO spoke out against it after pressure from employees and LGBTQ advocates. Since then, officials have moved to void a development deal involving Disney's theme park. In response, Disney has filed a lawsuit claiming DeSantis has violated rights and threatened its business. The company even accused Florida of orchestrating a government retaliation against Disney. Meanwhile, DeSantis said the state's moves are efforts to remove special perks for a company that were no longer in public's best interest. So whose side are we on in this feud? Because
Yes!
FMT.
FMT.
Fuck, marry, kill. Oh, FMK.
Keep that in there.
Okay. Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett.
Kill Elon.
You don't trust him.
And then
Right.
I would marry Warren Buffett. He's the closest to, like, he's the oldest, so I'd probably get the...
Oh my gosh.
I guess that leaves me the F Bill Gates.
Oh.
Which, he's got some cushion for the pushing.
Okay, Bill Gates.
Rock and bog.
Let's hype him up. Let's put a picture right here.
Yeah. More and more countries are talking about ditching the US dollar as the global currency reserve, which could be bad news for the US economy. China is leading the charge and teaming up with countries like Russia, India, Brazil, and South Africa. So why are these countries talking about ditching the dollar? Well, last year when the US Federal Reserve started raising interest rates, it made it more expensive to trade with the United States for these other countries because of the exchange rates. Some experts argue that by ditching the US dollar, these countries will be able to avoid external pressures like the United States raising interest rates. But I wouldn't count the dollar out quite yet. There has been lots of other discussions in the past about the world ditching the US dollar as the global currency reserve, and it's never happened. In part because oil, one of the world's most important commodities, is still priced in the US dollar, and basically every country in the world is trading oil using the dollar, so it makes it a lot easier to just keep using it. I guess we'll just have to see what happens over the next few years, but for now, cash is still king.
Luke, who's the last person in this office you would want to date your daughter?
Oh, definitely Aiden Pearson.
Aiden Pearson?
Without a doubt.
Aiden, who's the last person in this office you would want to date your daughter? Luke chose you.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. I wouldn't let my daughter date Jamie Miller.
Jamie?
What the fuck?
Jamie?
I'm gonna go with Luke Jacoby.
Definitely Aiden over here.
Aiden Pearson.
Definitely Aiden, because I would not want to see him at my house every day.
Aiden.
It's definitely Luke Jacoby or Jamie Miller.
Luke Jacoby.
Top of that list is Michael Murray for me.
Really? Who's the last person in this office you would let date your daughter?
Aaron Bree.
Really?
Hands down.
Why?
He's a scumbag, bro.
Ooh, that's a good question. Honestly, any of those guys sitting over there would be off limits. Michael Murray, I'd consider it.
Jamie.
Jamie.
I'm always busy. Anyone, because if I had a daughter today, everybody would be at least 20 years older than her.
Aiden Pearson.
Did you know there was someone that lived to be 122? That's the oldest person of all time.
Who was this? 122?
Her name was Jeanne Calment. She was a French woman. She was literally alive when Vincent van Gogh was. She met him when she was little, smoked 2 cigs a day, and lived up to be 122.
I'm not planning on living that long.
No, me either. But there's a story about her and her lawyer. Basically, she made a deal with her lawyer where he would pay for her apartment until she died, thinking that he would outlive her because who lives to be 122? Turns out she outlived him, ended up living in this apartment for free for the rest of her years. And you know what? She deserved it.
Dude, so the lawyer died, she gets a free apartment for the rest of her life.
Yup. Should we make that bet?
If you want to, I don't know. I mean, I think I'd be on the tough side because women on average live longer. This is the first time that I'm scared about AI. Geoffrey Hinton, known as the godfather of AI, recently left his position at Google to speak out about the potential dangers of the technology he helped to develop. He worked part-time at Google for a decade, but has since become concerned about the technology and his role in advancing it. In an interview with the New York Times, he warned us about AI's potential to eliminate jobs and create a world where many will not be able to know what is true anymore. Basically, the dude who helped create AI is now scared of his own creation and warning the public about potential dangers. Hinton isn't the first Google employee to raise a red flag on AI. In July, the company fired an engineer who claimed an unreleased AI system had developed emotions, but many in the AI community denied this claim. The new technology is promising, but
How much money is acceptable to spend on an engagement ring? And I want to ask you both. We just got engaged. You did? 2 seconds ago? Oh my God! Congratulations! Can I see the ring? You're a lucky man.
Luke, who's the last person in this office you would want to date your daughter?
Oh, definitely Aiden Pearson.
Aiden Pearson?
Without a doubt.
Aiden, who's the last person in this office you would want to date your daughter? Luke chose you.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. I wouldn't let my daughter date Jamie Miller.
Jamie?
What the fuck?
Jamie?
I'm gonna go with Luke Jacoby.
Definitely Aiden over here.
Aiden Pearson.
Definitely Aiden, because I would not want to see him at my house every day.
Aiden.
It's definitely Luke Jacoby or Jamie Miller.
Luke Jacoby.
Top of that list is Michael Murray for me.
Really? Who's the last person in this office you would let date your daughter?
Aaron Bree.
Really?
Hands down.
Why?
He's a scumbag, bro.
ooh, that's a good question. Honestly, any of those guys sitting over there would be off limits. Michael Murray, I'd consider it.
Jamie.
Jamie.
I'm always busy. Anyone, because if I had a daughter today, everybody would be at least 20 years older than her.
Aiden Pearson.
What is the craziest medical experiment you did for money in college?
The most bizarre one was, it was like this, some sort of childhood trauma, and it paid well. This was like a $40 experiment. You had to spend 2 hours just getting it was shakingly, tremblingly deep. And they're
Speaking? You're talking about
Oh, but they're
trauma?
digging deep and deep and deep. They're trying to find issues. They take your blood and measure your heart rate and your saliva before and after. It was a weird one.
Wow, that's crazy.
After that, I went to the sleep lab for the next couple months.
Oh my
Sleep lab is
God.
just where you sleep, and they just do stuff to you while you sleep. They would give you $20. They'd be like, "We're gonna watch you sleep for 4 hours."
Oh no! Did you fall asleep?
Yeah, I did tons of experiments. I would spit in tubes. They would make you watch a scary video, and then they would take your blood before and after.
And then what would you do with the money?
just go straight back into the natty lights. But, like,
Wow.
How much would you fucking pay? How much would you pay to gain an inch of height? How much would you fucking pay, right?
Tommy doesn't need any more.
I'm not talking to Tommy. I'm talking about you, Michael, right? You're 6 foot, whatever.
6'2".
That's cap, bro. You gotta drop 20 racks to be 6'2". I think you're 6.
I dropped 25 racks.
Oh, dude, I dropped 50. If I was a doctor and I could consistently make someone an inch taller, like I'd be charging 25 to 30 grand per inch. So like,
I'm doing it. It's probably 25 racks.
can you imagine Mike wobbling into the office when he's tall as Tommy? He's like, "What up, big guy?"
This is a day in the life of a day trader. My name is Scott, but that's not really important. First things first, I need my coffee. Pray nobody talks to me. I woke up violent. I'm selling puts all day long. Gotta get a mug. Don't want to jinx it. I know you see the rollie. Money's been good. One of the interns will clean that up. I only drink Cometeer coffee, and I only drink it black. I'm miserable. Now that I got my caffeine and can finally feel something, it's time to get this bread. I'm the best in this office. No one's got nothing on me. Before I get started, it's time for my daily affirmations. Money rules everything. Money over my mama. Cash is everything. It's gonna be another day of winning.
Oh, Aiden. Michael asked me if I'd rather get $1,500 inheritance from my grandma, but she has to die.
Inheritance?
Inheritance.
Oh, I thought you said hair tints.
Inheritance.
Oh,
No.
that'd be sick.
Or
No.
would you rather get hit by a bus for $150,000?
Are you got? Maybe I'm not hearing this question right. You said I get $1,500 from my grandma.
Mm-hmm.
But she has to die.
Bro, that doesn't even matter. I'm taking the bus all day.
Me too.
Where are these people that care about their grandmas?
We are talking about 100 times more gain.
But you have to get
Yeah.
hit by a bus.
How hard?
Like hard.
Like, imagine I was just standing in the street talking to Aiden. Boom, bus. Just fucking.
But you survive.
You run over.
Bang.
How much money you'd have if you bought Apple stock instead of an iPod. The first iPod cost $399 and went on sale November 2001. At that time, a share of Apple stock was $19.60. That's about 20 shares for that $400. But in the last 20-ish years, Apple has had several stock splits, and the initial 20 shares turned into 1,140. With each share currently worth $169, you'd have over $192,000 today. Do you regret buying an iPod? Because that's a lot of money. And in case you don't remember,
Why would Donald Trump bury his former wife on his golf course? Well, the potential tax loopholes will probably have you asking why not. Ivana Trump was laid to rest at the Trump National Golf Club in New Jersey, prompting many to question the decision. While it's not uncommon for people to be buried on private property, Ivana's grave is the first at the club, and the ground had to be consecrated for her to have a traditional Catholic burial. One major theory people have is that Trump buried her there for tax benefit. Apparently, if his golf course were to be classified as a cemetery under New Jersey law, the business operating it would be eligible for a range of tax benefits. The land used for cemetery purposes is exempt from real estate and personal property taxes, as well as sales tax, inheritance tax, business tax, and income tax. Additionally, property designated as a cemetery is protected from being sold to satisfy judgments, and funds associated with a cemetery, such as trust funds and trust income, are also exempt from both taxes and seizures to satisfy judgments against the company. Whatever the case may be, what do you think about this?
Is no one talking about the guy who turned $13 into $1 million? And no, it wasn't with crypto.
You crazy son of a bitch, you did.
An anonymous FanDuel user submitted a $13.69 bet on a recent Coke Zero 400 NASCAR race. He bet that drivers Cody Ware, BJ McLeod, Landon Castle, and David Reagan would all finish in the top 10. At first glance, the likelihood of this bet hitting was extremely low, as none of these drivers were really in the top 10.
Sometimes you just have to take a risk.
But a wet track and a huge pileup changed everything. The crash took out nearly every leader in the race, leaving the door open for other drivers. As a result, our guy hit every single bet and received a payout of $999,433,063. Of course, he has to pay taxes on it, but still, it's a bet for the history books. So, I wonder.
Look at this. Oh, perfect. Oh my God.
Oh my God. I get it.
Do you think that the intake of Bang Energies help to increase sales?
No, but I did read a study that it increases hair loss.
You know what? It probably does correlate positively with sales.
Like drink a bang, make a sale, drink a bang, make a sale. It's kind of like,
it's not healthy, but it is the way we live.
and it works.
So far, yes, it works.
Okay, thank you. On to our next question. There are 3 psychological factors that could be affecting your money habits. First, fear of repeating family financial issues. If your parents weren't good with money, you might feel like you'll make the same mistakes. Become aware of patterns you do not want to repeat. Number 2, scarcity mindset. Sometimes we feel like we don't have enough, which can affect our spending habits. Instead, focus on things you appreciate and adopt an abundance mentality to attract more positivity. Finally, if you've experienced trauma, it can affect how you deal with financial issues. Overspending and impulsive financial decisions, also known as retail therapy, are coping mechanisms. Becoming aware can help you overcome these patterns. I hope now you can better some of your financial choices because why would Justin Bieber sell away the rights to all of his music? Recently, a company paid $200 million to gain the rights to all of Justin's 290 plus songs. That means the next time you play JB, it's this company getting paid, not him. 200 mil is a lot of money, but is that really worth it to Justin? Normally I'd say no. But this new tax law could be why he did it. If President Biden's proposed plan to increase taxes on capital gains goes into effect, it would mean artists would be paying more tax on their music royalties, and by taking a lump sum ahead of time, they could be avoiding that tax increase. So, do you think that was a smart move? Finding buried treasure on your daily walk? This sounds like the beginning of a children's story, but for a California couple, this became their reality. The anonymous couple was strolling down their usual path when they stopped to dig up 8 cans filled with gold coins dating back to the 1800s, now known as the Saddle Ridge Hoard. They hid the coins in an ice chest and buried them in an undisclosed location until they found the proper firm to represent them. This couple has since reached a deal with Amazon to sell some of the coins and plans to use the funds to pay off debts and make charitable donations. I mean, can you believe it? Imagine getting paid $17 million to move out of your home. Herbert Suknick was a 73-year-old man that lived in New York City's Mayflower Hotel. In 2004, developers bought the hotel to construct an exclusive residential building. The only issue was to relocate and buy out the 4 tenants living there. Herbert was by far the most stubborn and smartest tenant. The man refused to leave, even after the developers started construction noises on his side of the building. After 2 years, the developers finally ponied up and gave him $17 million to leave, and on top of that, a $2 million condo that he'd rent for only $1 a month. I don't know what I'd do in this situation, but how much would it take for you to move out of your home?
Now, in some heartwarming news. Recently, a video went viral on TikTok where a daughter asked her followers to download her dad's boating app. There's no way that the daughter, Megan, could have anticipated the reaction the video got. It went well beyond her followers, reaching more than 2.5 million people. And TikTok, you did a good job because enough people downloaded the app to make Argo one of the most downloaded apps in the App Store. There were even plenty of comments from people who said, hey, I don't even have a boat, but I'm still gonna download the app. So, for all the hate that social media gets, just remember that sometimes some good can come out of it too.
Peter picked a pickled pepper. All right, here we go.
President Biden may have to... Blech.
For Gwen, Elon Musk's college sweetheart recently altered
Look excited. That's the thing. I think you're.
All right, cool. Yeah, you're right. I'm dead inside.
Someone is trying to run away.
Blech. Blech.
What year is it?
That was weird.
Good.
Regulatory scrutiny. Mouthful.
Panny U2 has 1.4 million TikTok followers and 1.3 YouTube subscribers. What? This week at Benzinga, we are going to talk about some of the highlight news clips, and I want to get everybody's opinions here, all right? So we are going to start with a question. Who is the most favorable U.S. political figure? Now, I do have the answer, but I want to know what you guys think.
Hasbullah.
Hajbullah, okay.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Here are your options.
Oh, we have an option.
You have options.
Most favorable?
So we have Ron DeSantis, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, Elon Musk. One of these, the most favorable to win the United States presidential
According
election.
to who?
Wow.
According to
the
Harvard.
people.
There was a study done at Harvard, the college that you did not
They took
attend.
a poll. You know, people voted.
Pulling that out of her.
Anybody have any ideas? AB, what do you think?
I think it's got to be Trump. I know it's not DeSantis because he's losing in polls to Trump. So I'm
Okay,
going
so
down
we got Trump. Tommy, you said Kathy something.
Probably not Biden.
Okay. Why do we think not Biden?
Horrible. Well, I'm just gonna assume that Biden isn't really like people aren't in love with him right now.
Because we're going into a recession.
Oh my God!
I mean,
didn't
people have
answer.
literally lost like his likability rating. Has
All right,
gone
my
down
answer's
since
C.
He's been
C.
in office.
Okay, Hannah, let's see who
Donald
the answer
Trump.
was.
Okay, everyone, you ready?
Elon Musk.
Can you believe it?
According to
believe
who? How many people at Harvard were
there
interviewed?
2,000 people decided.
I feel like
that-
people don't like. Well, I feel like
Here.
also A, people don't really like Elon right now, and B, he's not even a political figure.
Please
he's
show
like
them the stats, Hannah.
Yeah, how is he a
So,
Show them the
No,
stats.
see it.
I
let's try and have one person talk at a time instead of on
I'm
top.
pretty sure this guy was at Rufus du Sol in Mexico slamming a bottle of 1942.
that does make me like him a little bit. He flew from a concert in Los Angeles that on like Friday night, and then at like 2 a.m. was at a different concert in Mexico.
Bro, but
The
So I
only
respect that.
billionaire to rage.
Respect.
I like
The thing is, he was dating. What was his girl Grimes?
Yeah,
so,
he
like
was
he
dating-
knows
they
how to
have
get
a
down.
baby.
He can like get down.
Nah, he can get
All right,
down.
let's check it
'cause he
out. So it was
dated
Elon
Grimes.
Musk, Trumpy Dumpy,
Oh,
Ron
yeah.
DeSantis. Did I say that right, AB?
No,
DeSantis.
Say it
All right.
wrong.
Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton. Why is she even up there anymore? Kamala Harris. You can see how it went down. All right, on to the next. Got a little more drama for you guys.
I-
That was your guess?
I see Vladimir Putin
I thought you
on
said
here.
Carrie.
Okay, we're going on a tangent. Next
Okay,
slide.
next slide.
Woo!
So, boys, do you know who this woman is? Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah, it's Sydney Sweeney.
Well, it's rumored.
I do not know her, but I would love
It's
to know her.
rumored that she's having an
Oh,
affair.
She's the Ford girl. She does all
yes,
this-
Ford girl.
I knew somebody
But
would
the
bring
thing
this
is,
shit
I
up.
like her Bronco content, but I get her fucking TikToks from that one gossip show she does with she's an actor and she's trying to bang this guy named Nate. That's all I know.
Euphoria.
Euphoria.
There you go.
I
Did
see
you guys
Euphoria
ever watch
clips.
Euphoria?
No, I
Show of
haven't.
hands.
It's
Who
so
has
good.
seen Euphoria?
When you say scene,
Select
I
I've seen
watch
episodes.
I've seen
Select
TikTok
Okay,
episodes.
raise your hands.
Not every. I'm saying I've seen
That's
episodes.
fine. You've
but not
seen
every
it though.
episode.
Horrible show. Bad for the
Shut
kids.
the fuck up.
Bad for the kids.
Just shut up.
It is bad
Horrible.
for the kids. The
It's
first
toxic
time that
for
I
those
saw
young minds.
Euphoria,
Okay.
I
Horrible.
couldn't watch it.
Horrible.
It took me a couple years to like be strong enough to watch Euphoria. So, do we
Like,
think
oh
she's really
my
having an
God.
affair, Hannah? What's the tea on this?
I don't care if she is or she isn't. Let's get to the next question. She does cool Bronco
Next
content.
question.
I like it.
I kind of care.
Okay.
Next.
Next.
I don't remember what this is. Oh, I just want to show you guys this in case you have to take I-75 home. There's a.
Oh my. Oh my.
Where do you think I live?
I don't know.
Michael
That's
Murray.
Michael's.
In case Michael Murray has to go. There's currently a cow.
You better watch out, man. That'll eat your Mustang.
That's actually not that far up
This is what
north.
got everyone going.
Yeah, this is Michael Murray getting to his golf outing this weekend.
The Mustang is the.
What if you
It
just
hopped
saw?
Over, wait, it hopped over the highway. on
This
the
was
other side, and
posted
the
9
video
hours
ended.
ago.
What
Like,
if you
this
saw
was
is she
happening.
having
a
an affair or what?
5%? A 5%.
We never found out.
She may or may not be having an affair. She stopped wearing her wedding ring like 3 months ago and has been like posting mad shit with her co-star. And they're like all over
I know
each
what that
other.
means.
She
I know what that
belongs to
means.
the
Trying to wrangle its
They're like
cow.
all over each other. They're doing all this stuff together. She was going on family trips with him.
Belong
Sketch.
to the
City
streets.
boys.
Yo,
City boys,
you
remember,
asked
you
this,
can't
like,
save
5
her.
minutes ago. What are we-
Okay, we have
Next
one more
slide.
clip for you guys.
One more.
This is just to honor someone here at the office and just thank him for all of his hard work.
Oh wait, never mind. It's playing the video.
It's a picture of me. Just kidding.
Oh my goodness.
This is Michael
Cringiest
Murray.
thing I've seen. When are you done modeling? I thought you ended that career like 5 years ago. What am I seeing?
No, he definitely did this.
I think that I don't know. Are you really holding that, or is this all green
No,
screen?
he's
I didn't
really,
take this.
he's really holding the milk.
bought that half gallon of milk.
Do you
Why'd
remember
you buy
bringing
it?
Malia a gallon of milk?
Hey, I just saw him on I-75.
Word.
All ties in.
It's a full circle.
Wait,
type
can you
of
read the
thing
caption for
here.
us?
Milk is Milk is totally boss. It's my go-to beverage when I'm slamming down Bang Energy and getting ready for another long day in the world.
He'd
of
sound like this.
finance.
He'd go, milk is totally boss.
Let's hear how Michael
Yeah.
delivers this script.
Get it right from the source.
Milk is totally boss. Go-to beverage when I'm
All right,
down
next,
Bang Energy.
next,
Slamming down Bang
slamming
Energy.
down Bang Energies, golfing, ready to offer Bang to the world. Finance. Nothing fails me like a good old glass of milk.
There we go. There we go.
All
That was
right, I'm
close
wrapping
enough.
this up. I ain't got nothing else to say.
Good job, everyone. None of you deserve Skittles after that.
All right. There you guys have it. A little bit a sneak preview into the short life, of course, of Benzinga. And you guys got to check out the content. Of course, if you're not already following, we do have a shorts channel. I'll make sure my man Rohan throws that link up in the chat there so you guys can go ahead and get a nice little subscribe. Let's get to the markets. What are you guys seeing out there? Let's go. I know I made a killer trade today, and I'm doing really good with the swings. I'm focusing on one right now that I might get out, but we got a lot to talk about in this market. The link to the shorts channel, because we have our own channel that has a lot of these short content on there. So I want to make sure that you also have access to that, Raz. Let's get to the markets. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. I got to go ahead and bring up my charts. Let's go talking about what I did today. It was a crazy day in the market. I'm not going to lie. I did take a SOX S trade and somehow turned out good. But the first one that I want to talk about, of course, is going to be the Lamb Research trade, because that was one that I took yesterday and, of course, and cashing in a little bit here. Let's go ahead and let's get to my branding here. Let's go to Money Mitch here. Boom, boom. You guys see it? Let's go. Let's take a look into Lamb Research and what happened today in the markets, of course. So when we're talking about Lamb Research, we're talking a lot about the semi-equipment materials side. I talked about this yesterday that I really wanted to focus on this side because the truth is that if China's really going to come in here and kind of hit us hard with the technology kind of trade war, are we going to start seeing some profit taking in this area? And are we going to get concerned about certain semiconductor equipment stocks as they go ahead and face some of this kind of tough turnover? And this was one that I got to say, there's not many times I short like a rocket. And this was a pretty much a rocket short. But what I tried to do to go after this is I was using the trend line. If it got back above the trend line, 590s, I would have got out on this. And I think the important thing is, like always, I talk about trades and what's very important. So I really feel like at the end of the day, you can take any trade out there. And I'm talking to you guys out there, right? Because the truth is, I deal with penny stock traders. I deal with big stock traders. It's really all up to the planned attack, right? So that's the way I went about it with Lamb Research. I got yesterday 586.58. You guys see it. It's already down to 575. And even earlier, it was down even further down, right? I mean, we got a wick that went down there to 572. So that's pretty good. I mean, overnight, I'll take it, right? And of course, this is a $500 stock. So could I go about this with 30 shares? I'll tell you guys, no, hell no. I'm not going to do that. I went with a very, very small amount. We'll tell you, I can count it on one hand. All right. And then what I did was I was able to take some profits yesterday, take some profits into the move today. And I'll tell you guys where I took some profits out. And the exact price there was at 576.16. So you guys can see that was around the 576 area. Didn't get the low of today. Just tried to cash them in, right? Now I can continue with the trade and let the trade work for itself. What do I mean by that? That now it's going to be break even the rest, or it's going to get me to that final profit that I'm looking at. What I was really looking at was on the daily for it to come back to the 9 EMA. 9 EMA is around 567. That'd be a killer win from here. And I don't even need the biggest share size. I can come at it with a really small amount, know my risk, look for a nice expansion reward. And we're not looking too bad in Lamb Research. Now, I also did today a little bit of some day trading action. I wasn't able to update on the action. So I do want to give an update on my success trade today. Of course, I got in this one in the Moo account. So shout out to Moo on that. And you know how that goes. There's the Moo out there, guys. You definitely smashed the like, but it wasn't a bad one, definitely at all. This was definitely a nice little winner here. So the money trade of the day has to go to the success, because I got to say, it wasn't a bad one there. I wrote it from 1622. Reversal style trade from this bottoming action all the way up there to the 68 level. Did we go to 1680s? Yes, but it wasn't a bad one. And this was kind of double dipping. So whenever I double dip, especially on a day trade, because the swing trade on Lamb Research was kind of in this area, right? So that's what I was looking for it to start showing up. And we saw some stocks really kind of turn around today. NVIDIA pulling back a little bit, back towards the 307. This one had a nice little hourly kind of candle and setup for the upside move, but then broke that 309, going to the next layer of support, which is this kind of wick action here. I really always start left and then work to the right to see where it goes. And you can see that we kind of cracked even below that. So let's go towards this wick, and you can see we're kind of holding around that 306.96. So I'd give it around the 307. If we crack that, we could be coming for this little gap below in the 303s. So this could be a little bit of a turnaround, at least for the time being. And then I look at a stock that was really strong, like AMD, right? And I can see how this stock really ripped right out the gates. The first hour of the day, it was pretty much straight up. But ever since then, we've been on a slow leak. Look at Apple. Apple coming down today, even though it announced a pretty good news, at least I thought, that it's going to start doing US chips, right? Isn't that going to be a better thing? No, it could actually be a costly thing. That's what I'm thinking. And Apple's starting to get hit on that. So this could be a little bit of a profit-taking move, right? Now we're starting to see what? Price actions start going below the 9 EMA. And that's very important, because that's one way that I start keeping up with the momentum. If I'm keeping with momentum, I want to see my stocks remain above the 9 EMA. Of course, this is the way I look at it. And you guys take that with a little bit of grain of salt. But let's keep going. How we doing in the markets, guys? What's going on out there? Easy Mike, EKS. Who's going to be the manufacturer? Broadcom, right? AVGO. Let's see how AVGO is doing. Look at that. It did get a little bit of a spike kind of in the pre-market. And you can see this is setting up. This one actually looks interesting. If there's one that I'd maybe keep an eye on, I can maybe keep my eye on this one. But if we're going to see a big turnaround, it could be a big turnaround. One thing to keep in mind, though, is this does have a nice little weekly pattern, right? Where you can see that we kind of ripped above here, made a move to 700. I would love to see a move back below 660s, coming back towards 650s, and then look to get AVGO, especially if we're going to see a turnaround. Let's get into some other stocks that I did take some swing trades. Of course, you guys know I've been all about what? A basket of cruise lines and airlines. And I took this actually last week. Actually been holding these for longer than a week now. And I said, you know what? With the market turning around a little bit, I definitely want to take some profits, maybe take some off that aren't working. And then definitely, if the markets turns around, one thing that I've learned in swing trading is I want to be really quick to the rotation. This is where traders a lot of the time struggle in swing trading. They're in a really nice position that's working higher. Then the market starts rotating away from them. They don't catch that rotation. And instead, they get hit. They were like really nice, good in the green. And now they're being break even, if not losing on the trade. This is why I'm trying to be quick to the profit sometimes. And even though I had longer intentions of a swing for longer periods of time, if I can get to a certain target and take that money and run, I've learned in my trading career, there's nothing wrong when we're taking our money and run. We just got to keep in mind that we are at least getting to certain kind of reward targets, right? Keeping that mathematical advantage, definitely important. So like at minimum, a lot of the times I look at a 2-to-1. A lot of the times what I'm looking for is 3 or 4-to-1. And if I can get 3 or 4-to-1, I'm taking that money. Like that success, even on the day trade today, that's a 3-to-1 trade. I'm taking that money because the truth is, if I can be 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 on a profit to loss ratio, I only need to be about 40% accurate to be into the green. I'll say that again. I only need to be 40% accurate to be into the green. And if I start being 50%, 60% accurate, or even 70% accurate, Well, I'm going to be deep into the green, and that's all setting up the mathematical probabilities in your favor. All right, let's keep going. Let's get to the action. Let's talk a little bit about some other stocks that are going on. What did well today? What didn't? Let's get to these swing trades really quickly, and then I'll talk about that. Let's go to CCL, of course, CCL, Carnival Cruise Lines. This is one that I've been riding since a little pullback towards 10. I like the pullback towards 10. We grabbed, we started keep going, but I think we're going to get this little push back into the 9 EMA. Can I continue holding Carnival? Yes. But what I did today is I determined, you know what, this is not one that I think is going to be able to hold continuously. So I'm just going to take the gain. It's an over 10% gain on this trade. So we can't really be mad about that, right? Sometimes we got to focus on the percentage gain, because I think about this, right? It's been hard for me to continuously get 6-8% gains in this market, right? So if I can get the 10% gain, I know it's a smaller stock, smaller capital that went in this trade, but it's still that nice percentage gain. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off the table, and just rinse and repeat. That's what we're trying to do here. All right, let's keep going. If it isn't at least 2 to 1, I won't consider it. It says hammer. I love it. I shoot for 3 to 1 all the time. That's what it's about. And finding where this fits in to your personality is so important. Some traders can trade for a 1 to 1. I cannot. I know that already. And so I won't go after trades that I know I'm going to get a 1 to 1 return. I'm looking for at least 2 to 1, but really closer towards that 3 to 1 and 4 to 1. When I go to 2 to 1 is when I feel like maybe the trade's turning around on me and something else is going on that's causing this. So I'm going to take that money off the table and I'll just get away from the trade. All right, let's keep going. Let's take a look at some other trades here. Of course, NCLH. I took some profits on this one, but I didn't completely get out of the position. I still have a good amount. 1361 is my entry for here, but this looks a little bit better. But we did make a move above the resistance, and then what do? We fail at that. But I want to start seeing if we can hold around the 1450s and make a move back up above the 15s. DAL is one that I still have. I did take some profits yesterday on DAL. Today I took profits on UAL, and we'll talk a little bit about that next here. But DAL I have from 33.54. We got a nice little spike today. There's no reason for me to run in this one yet. So I'm just going to hang on to the rest of this. I have it from 33.54. I'm really down there. I can see the resistance above. We got a nice level to look for. Really want to look for that closing above 36.10s, close above 36 to really start pushing towards 37 and get to the next level on Delta Airlines. So will I get that liftoff? We'll see. I also like the weekly outlook that if I can come back to the 40s, this is going to be looking really nice for a bigger swing trade. So I got to be a little bit more patient on some of these. As long as they're continuing to stay with the trend, I'm going to be riding it. DAL, one I still have. AAL is one I just set a really close stop, and I could get out at any moment. I would get out at the price, and I'll tell you guys exactly where I have it set, around the 14.15 level. And the reason why is I got in this at 14.19, and it just doesn't want to get into the green. I'm not going to let one of these trades ruin the rewards that I have in the other trades. So I'll give it the tiniest bit amount of risk, and if it gets me out there, it's fine. I'll take a little small hit and continue working the winners, right? Cut the losers, keep riding those winners. That's what we do, of course, when we swing trade, right? Our mentality in swing trading, especially if we're going to trade multiple positions, is to be able to cut the losers quickly, ride the winners higher, make that big gain on the winners, cut the losers small. Same thing you try to do in day trading a lot of the times. But the truth is, on swing trading, I feel like I can control it a little bit more. And some of these positions, we can continue to ride them higher. We'll see what's going on. So this one's like literally right now about 0, while the other 3 are up over 6.4%. NCLH 6.4, UAL 6.6, and DAL 7.5. So let's keep pushing, team. We'll see what happens with these baskets. Let's go to energy here. Oil stocks riding a little bit higher today. We can take a look at some of these. Of course, we can start with the bigger names like XOM. Let's take a look at that one, how we're looking on the daily chart. We're looking like we're bouncing a little bit off this 105, 106 area. But one thing I can clearly see is it seems like we're getting another rejection around the 108. So it doesn't seem like we want to get back above 110. I think you're going to start seeing more and more sideways action in the oil game. But if you look here, if I extend this on the XLE, and the XLE is very important to watch because now we're looking at more the whole sector, right? And of course, some of the bigger names like ExxonMobil, Chevron, ConocoPhillips, EOG, SLB. And you can see here how we're kind of building a little bit of a base here on the bottom. That doesn't look really good there for neither team right now, and neither Bulls nor Bears. But it looks like we could hold on to that trend line and start making our way back towards 84. So we'll see if we make our way back to 84. That's where I would definitely be careful that you could get a little bit of a push higher right back into the 90s. So we'll see what happens here in XLE. Does it get the little bounce and come back higher? Or do we make a move to 76? A move to 76, Bears are in control and it could break down. All right, we'll see what happens on the XLE. You guys can see the utilities also in the green today, but this is really not an area that I'm looking at. Lately, it's been pulling back. Real estate in the red today. What's deep into the red? Healthcare and technology names, as those pull back, that's where we got to start being careful. Healthcare just gave a huge kind of topping resistance look, and now it's pulling back. We'll see if it kind of cracks down, and we just start losing some of these. Lilly coming down the second day in a row. Of course, Pfizer kind of hurt that, and you're making a little bit of an arbitrage trade right now where Pfizer's going higher and Lilly's coming down. So we'll see what happens on that one. Merck is also coming down after really being really strong. And if you look at it here, this looks a little bit like, kind of like a head and shoulders, kind of a little bit of a rounding top where it's really starting to get weak now. It could really crack 112 and start making its way back towards 110. If this one could come back towards 105, I would definitely be interested, but that's ways away from here at 113. So I'm seeing that being affected. And if the healthcare is going to start turning around, be careful because that's where a lot of the GARP plays are, right? The growth at reasonable value. And that's what that word means. I know Raz is a little bit newer in the chat. Always like to help some other traders out. There's a lot of head and shoulders forming, says Hammer. And I like that outlook, man, because the truth is we got to catch that, right? Because if we're starting to see that topping action, all it takes is usually one bad catalyst. And what happens is you get that down gap. And we know how traders are, technical analysts especially. We start seeing that. And then we see that down gap start coming with negative news. We come after it. So, of course, always try to respect the price action. And I got you, Raz. That's what it's all about, man. And I know that you're kind of relatively new, so I say sometimes terms that are just used in the industry. Of course, always look them up if you don't understand them so that you can go ahead and master the topics, right? And this way you understand and can talk about these the same way. So a lot of times when you're looking at healthcare, you got to look in the fundamentals in each stock, right? But you're looking to see if it's growth at reasonable value. A lot of times, let's say like technology names, they trade way too high on their PEs. Like let's say in NVIDIA, is that really growth at reasonable value? Some might tell you yes, but I think it's excessive, right? Like no stock should be trading that far away from their price to earnings, but let's keep going. All right, let's keep going. Let's take a look at what else is taking trades. Let's go to technology. Let's go to the big boys because one stock that was making a huge lift that I thought was going to lift the Qs to another level, and I was worried about it really kind of running into a wall, was Tesla. And look at that today. It made a big move higher, but if you actually look at it, now we're actually below that support. We could still recover on this name, and so that I'm keeping that in mind. I'm glad I'm already out of a lot of the stocks S because when Tesla gets strong, the Qs love getting going. So they did do a nice little push, though, and expand away from the 9 EMA. So I could see a pullback to 180, 177, and then it'd be something to keep an eye out for. Isn't NVIDIA 30 times price to sale? Exactly, Hammer. Excessive, right? And that's not at reasonable value. And so that's why we got to think sometimes when people are in between value and growth, a lot of times they go to GARP, right? Because the truth is at that point, you're still staying in some growth names, but you're not going to those unreasonable valuations. All right, let's keep going. Let's get into some. The Crow said the ugly power hour. Yeah, this is the swamp hour. The SPY just coming down. Ooh. Let's see. Well, it looks like we just at least hit 414 a little bit. Qs. Ooh, 333s, man. I was looking for that 336 break today. And one thing that I could see on the Qs, just kind of talking about it, is using like the 5-minute or the 15-minute. And a lot of times early in the mornings and when I'm looking for like patterns, I look to where's the resistance, right? I could clearly see like before even this, that there's some resistance up here towards the 336.80s, right? You just put it around those body closes, right? And it doesn't need to be precise. I use that line right there, and I'm going to make it a little bit thicker so you guys can see it really well, right? And so that's the line that I started looking at way in the morning. When the price action came to that level, look how we started rejecting it. We do wicks through, and those are what I always talk about, the tricks, but we kept rejecting that. And that's why a little bit of me was staying in the success. I was like, man, this is just a lot of rejections there. And if we keep using that, eventually we can test support. And we did do this nice little cut towards like 336, and then we start to recover. That's when I'm thinking, man, are we going for a 337 breakout? We come right back towards those levels, and look how the rejections just continued off that level all day long. And then finally, it comes back to test support. What I talk about also, a lot of times I'm looking for those tests down, and there it started to break. That's when we really got the break there. But the resistance was happening all day long. And so I think it's very important to kind of catch that. Is this drop massive or no? I wouldn't say massive. The one way you can just like, and I'm going to take this line off. So you see this here at the bottom, just little teaching lesson, right? Why not? It's about 324. We'll have Average Joe Trader join us at 3:30. So stick around, team. So you see what I have here? I have what's called average true range. And that's this little box right here that says 3.92. So on average, the Qs are moving right now and in a like the range on the day about 3.92 on the move. What's the move today? And that's what you want to look at, right? What's the move? Well, the move right now is about 4.77. So is it a little bit higher than that ATR? Yes. It's a pretty significant move above the ATR. But is it 2 times the ATR? That's when I really start seeing, whoa, volatility expansion. And that's why you see this line kind of going up and down. When it's down, volatility is coming down in the market. When the volatility is, when it's rising, like it was in this downward period, and we were just rising and rising, that means that volatility is increasing. And so that's why I use the average true range. I think it's very important, especially when I'm looking at the Qs and the SPY, to try to look for some volatility contraction or expansion. And when you get expansions on down moves, that's when I start getting a little bit concerned. So I could even, if I wanted to, put like a horizontal line here and look to see if the ATR starts to push above that and we start making another climb. On a climb, I think would be on a pullback. We'll see what happens. All right, let's get out of ATR talk. I'm not here to talk about indicators, but I do like to do a little teaching. That's what it's all about. And the things that I use, right? I try to show you guys what I use and how I go about it. Michael's asking here, whenever you get, you can give me an explanation on what happened to nat gas and why it's not going back up. We're still using gas, even FPL. So Michael, honestly, Boyle and UNG, they're on the ban list, Michael. I gave enough money to them too. I can tell you that question really I struggled with it for a very long time. But what ended up happening here is that the truth is there's still supply out there, right? The supply increased. But one thing that I did see that the energy companies did, and this is why when you look at utility companies, and we'll take a look at a utility company, right? Like let's say Duke Energy, right? Look what happened here in 2020 and 2021 going up to 2022, right? this was making a nice move higher. A lot of that is, more cost. So what they were doing is just turning around and making, of course, increasing the price to get around it, right? But the truth is that the actual price of natural gas has been free falling. And with that free fall, what ended up happening is that these companies they didn't even care that the free fall was happening. They were still overcharging. And so now it gets to a point where you're starting to see them fall off. And I think a lot of that is why you're starting to see oil prices come down. You're starting to see natural gas prices stay low. And with that happening, if natural gas prices are going to come down, oil prices are going to come down, a lot of the power and the cost is going to start to come down. And so I think that that's also why we're maybe seeing a little bit of a turnaround in the utilities. But what exactly happened in natural gas? It's a lot of conversations that you're going to have to look into, understanding how they had supply to use. But the hard question was there going to be a need for more supply? And in the long run, nat gas can still run, but it's going to need another situation to kind of get it going. And I talked about this with all the experts. And I can tell you, there was plenty of them that told me that it looked very worrisome, right? But the truth is, there was nothing there. And sometimes even the experts are going to be wrong. All right, let's keep going. We'll get out of the natural gas conversation. Let's keep going. How we doing out there? Wisdom. Boyle? Yeah, no, on the ban list for sure. Easy. Money managers juiced that spot on NG that one day, so everyone piled in. Exactly, easy. A lot of manipulation goes on, I feel like, in a lot of the oil and natural gas game. I can tell you right now, those are the hardest trades that I've tried to learn. And I still think that I don't have the upper hand in oil stocks. I've done better, right? And maybe that's because I've been, really kind of following with them. But the truth is, something like OPEC comes out and they tell you that they're doing, $85 a barrel. And then the things all change. The truth is there's always a little bit of a flip and kind of a little bit of a hard kind of understanding that you need to get with oil plays, natural gas plays. And when we're talking purely energy. All right, let's keep going. In a little bit, we'll be joined, of course, by Average Joe Trader. You guys smash the like for that. Let's take a look at what else is making moves on the day. And, of course, if you guys got something to look at, throw it up in the chat. All right, let's go to industrials. So I'm keeping an eye on Deere, right? Deere tried to start making a move back, but now it's starting to fall off, right? Are we going to really start seeing these stocks just completely fall off, right? This is something that I think I'll keep an eye out for. You can take a look at CAT. Will this start to make an up move, bounce off this trend line, or will it just crack this and go lower? I think it's very important to keep your eyes on the industrial space to see if that's going to get a little bit of a bounce. But look at GE, man. GE still staying strong. I keep expanding this trend line to see what day finally do we actually break it and go lower. But for the time being, this doesn't want to stop. And for right now, all we can do is just let it keep doing its thing. There's going to be a day where I want to short GE, but it ain't right now. It's starting to break, though. But every time it breaks, what happens? Recovery. Breaks, recovery. Breaks, super recovery. Be careful out there, especially when you're going shorting. You got to be careful when you're playing strong names. This has been a strong name, and I don't want to see it turn around on me. Lockheed Martin, will this get another spike? I kind of like this already. It's getting to levels where I kind of like it. You kind of could risk off 450s. You've got a couple of weeks where you've held the 450 mark, 447. This could come back if we, for some reason, get any kind of Russian mention or something like that, or maybe China mention that gets a nice little rip. It's something that I'll keep an eye on. Nothing that I'm going to grab right now, but we'll see what else is going on. Wisdom, higher high on GE. Yeah, GE, I can't stop, won't stop right now, and I'm not getting in front of it. That's the same thing with NVIDIA. Like, I want to short NVIDIA, but the truth is, that's a monster right now. You can get run over in an instant. That's the truth. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at what else is doing good in the S&P 500. We can do that by just taking a look at change from the open. Or do you guys want to take a look at what got hit hard today? You guys in the chat, what do you guys want to see? Top movers or the top losers? Let me know. All right, let's keep going. For right now, I'll take a top winner, which was Moderna. We can point to that. Definitely seeing a nice move there towards 140. Now pulling back towards 138. Got to keep an eye out to see if this was kind of, kind of news-based. But it is trying to come back here, starting to make a little move back after really pulling back all the way down there towards 123. So it's a bigger support now starting to hold there. I'd look for a little pullbacks towards 135, kind of in this space here towards 136, 135. Right now, it's definitely too strong to jump on, but something to look at. ALB, I talked about today, with lithium moves, start making a move with Tesla moving higher. LAC is one that's on my radar right now. And the big part of that is the daily chart. So I'll show you guys the daily chart. It's kind of hanging on here. Has a really nice long pattern here, right? When they're longer and they break those trend lines, they're pretty, man. I mean, this looks as pretty as it gets a lot of the times. I look for charts like this, especially on a weekly. Oh, yeah, I'll keep this on my radar. And if this breaks this, it's going to be looking pretty interesting. We'll see if it ever makes a move towards like 25. And then maybe we can even get in towards the break of 24. Watch it go to 25, 26, and then get back in it towards 23.50, right? Kind of add, sell into the rip, then get it right back. I love the throwback looks, man, when you can just go boom, right back, and then let it ride. We'll see what happens on there. Smoke tuna, Money Mitch. Maybe you can look at mid and mega cap high, 52-week low and dailies. I like 52-week low and dailies, but the truth is I don't like buying those and I don't like selling those. It's very hard to kind of turn a stock or call the top or call the bottom. There's not many times I've done it. And I can tell you guys, I'm pretty good at taking that kind of shot. And I don't even do that. Let's just be honest. If you're calling 52-week lows, you're calling 52-week highs, a lot of times you're going to get hit through that. And especially if you're looking at the reversal side of it, right? Maybe you can ride the trend a little bit higher, but when the trend changes, it changes. It's like a wicked change. So you got to be really quick, especially if you're riding stocks that are making 52-week highs. You know who talks about this a lot? Dennis Dick. You see him on PreMarket Prep. He talks about this often. He doesn't go buying those stocks because he knows how quickly they can turn around. All right, another one that I'll keep on watching, lithium space, is like PLL. I like this one on monthlies, but this one you have to kind of take it slow. And that's why I like the monthly chart on PLL, but keep your eyes on that. SQM, I haven't seen this one in a while. Is this one finally bouncing a little bit? Still needs to come out of the downtrend. You can see this recent downtrend where it really needs to shake that first. I would want to see it get towards like 80 first before I even take a look at SQM. All right, that's going to do it for me right now, guys. You guys see the SPY pulling back there, and that's my kind of last look into the market. I still got my LRCX. I'm going to continue to let that work. We'll see if we continue to get that kind of downturn in Lamb Research. This was a little bit riskier one, but I think the key is always knowing you're out, and it turned out good for me today. We'll see how they turn out for me tomorrow. All right, but I'm going to go ahead and get to my guest today. Like always, you guys smash the like. I got my guest, Ed Average Joe Trader, going to be joining me right now. You guys smash the like. Let's get him on. How we doing, Ed?
Hey, doing great. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. Ready to get into some market talk. Of course, it's been kind of a little bit of a nice little lift up, right? We've been climbing the wall of worries. I don't even hear too much about regional banks anymore.
Nah, this market seems like it moves from one news event to the next pretty quickly.
Yeah, man. And I think that, that's why I talk about the underworkings of kind of like a bull market. And I was waiting for the 420 move for so long, right? It's kind of funny. We get to the 420 and we just quickly turn around, right? And the big thing for me on that 420 is I for a long time, I tried to decipher what a bull market and bear market was, right? I thought the best definition for me was just 20% off the highs. That means bear market, and 20% off the lows, we're back to a bull market, right? And that's how I tried to keep it, right? And so that's why I looked at the 420, but it's interesting. We get there and quickly we're right back into the game, right? And it looks like we're back below the 417s and back into like the 414 range of the SPY. So what are you thinking about the market here, Ed?
I'm loving it. I want it to come back to me because I'm a perma bear.
Ah,
Is
my
it?
man. He's
I like
getting out the cave here. I hear you, man.
I like things easy, and
Yeah.
it seems to be easier to make money when the market's going down. So,
Okay. Hey, that's
but
good. That's good. So my man Ed loves his shorts.
yeah, so I figured, when the market hit that 420, we were gonna run into some people defending it, and it was more than I thought, but it was nice.
Yeah, man, and I think that one thing that we need to look for now is, and I'm looking for it. I started taking some shorts and lamb research today. I played success. I'm starting to look for some profit taking in tech because the truth
Oh
is
yeah,
these stocks have ran and ran and ran, and I mean at some point there has to be some like kind of worry in the head that we're gonna start losing these big gains, and you start to see that profit taking. What do you think, Ed?
yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm waiting on. Like Tesla, I've been running up, running up, running up, and today it's the
It ran
start
into the
of
wall, right?
yeah,
Nvidia, same thing,
yep,
right? Like,
Nvidia. Netflix was doing good too until it got that little
hmm
news flash, but I think it's going to be coming back too. So my Fugly Five are going to be, um, paying off the next couple of weeks, I believe.
well, you got some love in the chat. Wisdom wanted to say thanks for the visit. Of course, let's talk a little bit about you. I know you do a little bit more day trading than swing trading, so we can talk about day
Yeah.
trading too on here. I got no problem with that. How is it trading today and maybe recently? Have you taken a nice trade you want to talk about?
Well, today, all my mentees did better than me because they didn't trade what I traded. So
Hey, that
that
doesn't
worked
matter. That's not too bad. To tell you the
in the
truth,
morning.
it happens to me all the time where I'm in my live trading stream,
Yep.
and of course, at least the chat's making money. That makes me happy too. I mean, at
Oh
the end of the
yeah,
day,
it,
I always know there's another day, right? There's another day where I'll
yeah.
get the chance.
As a teacher, that's what we look for. And
Exactly, right?
coming into this from the education field, it just makes my day. But what we've been nailing mostly has been the aftermarket earnings. And I've been having to hold them overnight to actually get the bigger move. That's something that's different this time around,
Yeah.
where we get the initial move on the announcement, and normally I could take that announcement candle and trade off of it, but it's not really doing much. It's just kind of holding support and like maybe holding the 9 moving average and holding the high of that announcement candle. So it only makes sense, hold it overnight, and the next morning we get a gap up or a move up at the open. We're able to take profit, and we're starting off with a really, really good day.
Love it, and that's what it's all about, man. Trying to get yourself in the right foot, right? Because
Yeah,
if you can really start kind of expanding on these kind of up waves that I mean, I
yeah,
see a lot of traders having a nice little up wave right now. I think that's what it's all about, right? I think
yeah,
one thing I talk about constantly on my live trading stream, and it really applies to all type of trading, is that I say there's waves to this game, right? And this is the equity wave, right? We all look at
yeah,
our equity wave. We all open our accounts, right? And we're like, we see that chart and we're like, oh, it's a roller coaster,
yeah,
right? And the key to
yeah,
that roller coaster, I always feel like, is just trying to find ways to shorten those little waves down and really spike on the upside. Because if you can get
yeah,
that expansion win, you're there, man.
yeah. My thing, well, I know this year has been, improvise, adapt, overcome,
Love
and
it.
just, you know, you you have to adapt to the changing market conditions, and that's what we've been doing. And whatever the market's been giving us, that's what we've had to adapt to. Not changing our overall core strategies, but adapting to that. And that I think that's what's been the secret to,
Love that. So that
navigation.
was improvise, change, and adapt.
No, improvise, adapt, overcome.
Oh, I love it. Love it.
You, I don't know.
I'm writing that down, man. That's gold right there. Given right there, my man.
That comes from the Marines.
Oh, that's where that's come from. I
Yeah.
could see that. That's power right there, man. Improvise,
Yep.
adapt, overcome, guys. Definitely write that one down. And I think that's very important. I've been talking about
Yep.
being nimble and quick to trades, being able to also accept sometimes, like I'm a very much, I like to trade 3-1 and 4-1 for returns, Ed. And sometimes, and don't worry, Hendricks would do it to me all the time.
He wants to get in on the action.
Oh, I know it. I know. They always do, man. I got to worry about those hotkey setups.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. One thing that I think is very important is learning how to be very quick. And I look for 3-1s and 4-1s for return. But sometimes I have to understand, like, let's say right now, if I was long some of these tech names and I'm starting to see
Yeah.
the turnaround and rotation in the overall market, in the overall industry, sometimes I'm going to have to take that money and run. Because if not, the market takes it for me.
You're right. That's what we've been seeing. It's
Yeah,
like,
and it's normal, right?
yeah,
Rotation sometimes is going to go against you. The key is how
yeah,
quick are you going to be towards your profits, right?
yeah. Because we're seeing just even in day trading, we have what we like to do is go from support to resistance or resistance to support. And these stocks are stopping 20, 30 cents away and then turning around and not coming back. So being able to recognize when they're running into resistance in the middle of nowhere, we know it's probably an algo or somebody that's playing off the levels,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how they're making their money. So just realizing what's happening, adapting to that. If we have to shorten our profit, that's fine. But we're making money, and that's what counts.
Definitely. I mean, that's what we're all here for. I've been really
Yep.
working on kind of a small account, and I think that's very important to kind of show that, it's not easy, right? And I think
Yeah.
that for a lot of traders out there, the key there is just taking it step by step. I talk about this often, and that's what I've been trying to do. It's been like kind of a month, and I'm looking like I'm going to be up about $50 on the account. But to tell you the truth,
Yeah.
that's 10%. And there's not many
Yeah.
traders making that good 10% a month,
That's
right?
yeah. That's what you have to measure it on is the percentage. Because you remember back in the warrior trading days,
Mm-hmm.
we're trading these small accounts on SureTrader.
Yeah, you remember
So
those days, man.
yeah. So that
Oh
that was
man. Those are the good times,
yeah.
Ed.
Trying to make money with SureTrader.
Oh yeah,
And
you want
those
the short
fees,
trader
man.
credit card? No, thanks. No
Yeah.
siree, man. Oh yeah, man. Those were the good times.
Yeah.
And I
So
think that we learned from that though, right,
yeah,
Ed? That's really
that's
what it was all
that's
about.
where you learn. Um, it forced us to be more disciplined and to stick to our plan. Because if we didn't, those fees would kill us and all of that. So absolutely. So I think trading, in a small account to start with, I mean, that's going to help build your confidence, your character, and your discipline.
Yeah, especially that last one, right? I always talk
Yep.
about how discipline is something that, we talk about it all the time, right? And if someone asks
Yep.
you the question, are you disciplined? Probably 9 out of 10 times you're going to get the answer yes, right?
Yeah.
But the truth is, for me, discipline is an action, man. You actually have to show it. You actually have to do it, right? And
Yep.
it's something that is more of a learned behavior than something that you just say you are. And that's where it gets hard, right? That's the
Yeah.
damn truth is that it's
Exactly.
it's very easily to get out at your stop one day. And that's why I always say that even if you do get out at your level that you said you were going to get out, I like to
Mhm.
give myself pats on the back. I talk about them, right? Because the truth
Yeah.
is, the idea here is executing. It's not about winning and losing. Because if you
Yep.
make it about that, it'll tear your mind apart.
Yeah, definitely. It's all about execution. Well, we call it extreme execution. And another one for you, execution, like innovation. I mean, execution is rewarded in our field.
Definitely. And I think that that's how you make it in this
Hmm.
space, right? Is learning
Yep.
first how to execute a system, and then you can go ahead and worry about sizing up and being able to repeat
Yeah.
that system. Because if you can't execute it and you look back and you're saying, hey, I'm trying to get a 3-to-1, 4-to-1 outlook, but when you look in your data, it says that you only trade 1-to-1. Well, the truth is, man, you're not trading that system.
Yeah.
It happens often. So what last thing for you here, and I always love to get a little wisdom from you, Ed. So what would you say to those traders out there that have maybe gone through a couple accounts, but are maybe just not finding what they think is the ultimate strategy? What would you say
Yeah.
to them out there?
Well, quickly, it like you said, it's about execution. When you find a strategy that you like, because there's only a handful of strategies out there. People just call them whatever they want to. They use different um, indicators and all that, but it's only a few core strategies. And you have a strategy that you like and you resonate with. Don't stop when you start to run into problems, because what happens is you'll trade one or two and it's good and it works, and then you lose 3 or 4, and you're like, oh, something's not right. I need to, and you start making wholesale changes. You start looking for the holy grail indicator and all of that, when that's not it. It's not about, it's about coming in, executing the same thing every day over and over and over again. And once you get enough trades, then you'll be able to determine whether your strategy works or not. And
100%.
yeah.
What do
And
you
don't
think is an
think
average trade number? Because I talk about this often, the sample size. What would you think is like a decent sample size of a system?
I know Mark Douglas says 20,
Mm-hmm.
but I would say 50,
My man,
because
that's my number 2, baby.
oh yeah, because we
I
make
love it.
mistakes. When you're
Hell yeah.
learning, you're gonna make mistakes, and you can't
100%.
count those trades that make mistakes.
Yeah.
Because I run into a lot of my mentees now that they'll have trades that they made money on, but they made a mistake. They entered too early. They held through their stop, and you can't use those toward whether your strategy is legit or not. And then they take the ones that they traded the right way, and it didn't make money, so all of a sudden it's wrong
Yeah.
when it's not.
Real quick.
If you execute your strategy flawlessly, that's a winning trade, whether it makes money or not. And those
Yeah.
are the trades you have to count toward knowing whether your strategy worked. And I think that's the biggest issue that new traders run into when they're trying to figure out whether their strategy works.
100%. And that's what we're here for at the end of the day, right? Is to
Yeah.
find a strategy that works and learning how to execute that, right? We need to be
Exactly.
trying to give ourselves the opportunity, though, to actually execute the trade. And I think this is why a lot of times when I talk about journaling, I think it's very important to journal what your intentions were, like what was the objection
Yeah.
trade and what was the
Absolutely.
actual result, right? Because if we only write down the results and we didn't write down what I objectively was looking for, then we
Yeah.
can't judge our execution, right?
Yeah. Or any mistakes you made executing the strategy.
100%.
All of that.
And work that out, right? Because the truth
Yeah.
is, if you're honest with yourself and
Yeah.
writing those things down, that's how we make improvements. I know you work with a lot of traders on that, Ed. So
Oh yeah.
it's great to see you, my friend. Always love to see
All right,
you.
you too.
And definitely you guys check out Average Joe Trader. I'm gonna make sure to get his link up here in the chat. He's really one of the guys that I love to especially talk about psychology of the markets. I feel Ed really gets it. He's been doing this for a lot longer even than I have. And believe it or not, guys, I used to really look up to Average Joe Trader when I was first starting. I still do, my friend. It's good to see you, Ed.
All
Take
right,
care,
thank
man.
you. Good to see you.
Keep working on it, man. All right, let's get back to the market. Let's take a look at what's going on right now. I want to see if we're starting to still get a decline in the market, or are we getting a little bounce? We were getting a little bit. You can see we're just hanging out at the bottom of the range. And a lot of times I think stocks are weak when we don't come back to the VWAP. That's that orange line you see here. So when we break down from a support and we can't even make our way back to the VWAP, what does that tell me? That we're seeing a little bit more leaking in the market than a lot of people probably expect. And so now we need to see if we're going to really kind of break overnight and continue that downside action. So like, let's say for Sox S, right? I could technically grab it here and maybe swing trade it till tomorrow. But the only problem with that outlook is that I'm way farther from the action of today. And Sox S loves to make hourly pullbacks. So instead of going for that range right now, I can look for that range tomorrow for it to come right back down towards maybe the 1630s, the 1625s, and continue. If it does go over the overnight action, hey, we can always look for another play tomorrow. We'll see what happens in NVIDIA. Does this continue to break down and keep coming lower? Will Apple keep breaking down? Because that's a very important stock to catch in the market. Amazon, that was really strong, now starting to end the day a little bit weaker. And I think that Amazon's been on a big, nice little run. We've been watching this one since pretty much 100 break, and now it's up there to 115, starting to pull back and could get right back into kind of, I would look for 112s, 110s. If I could get that, I would be looking at Amazon for maybe some pullback entries. And I think at the overall outlook, even if we turn around on technology, right? If we really start coming back here into this kind of resistance and hold there, and then maybe catch a bounce, we can easily just bounce right back up. So one thing is also to keep in mind, the release of the Fed minutes will be tomorrow, of course, on Wednesday, and you need to be watching to see what's talked about, right? Did they talk about something in the banks there that they didn't release to us? Did they talk about, of course, how they're going to be looking at interest rates a little bit further down? How prolonged will interest rates be? And of course, we'll get GDP on Thursday that could shake everything up a little bit, right? So just keep your eyes on what's going on. Also, looks like VIX, too much momentum. Keep an eye out on the VIX to see if that really starts getting going. Of course, the VIX has been hanging out at the bottom there. It could really start making kind of a big move, right? So we'll see what happens there. You guys can see kind of VIXY, how we're starting to kind of turn around. A lot more volume also starting to come into that play. And so the last time we had volume, we made a little bit of a pop, about 3-day move. Will we get another 3-day move here and then start getting a move higher? We'll find out there. All right, team, we'll see what happens in my other trades. Did get out of that AAL during the interview, so that came down through the spot and take the tiny loss there. It's almost pretty much break even, and because I was in at 419, it's about 5-cent loss there. But now I can keep the other trades and just continue to ride those. But of course, I don't want these to cut down, let's say, below 4%, but I'm going to try to ride them a little bit higher, like UAL, DAL, NCLH. Did take off today, CCL, and of course, took off also, we took off some of LRCX. And so that's the one that I'm going to try to get down there towards that 9 EMA, but at least this is a short, right? This is one that we can keep holding for right now and looks like it could keep leaking overnight. We'll see what happens overnight with some of the other stocks that come in. Retail stocks have been getting hit. So will retail stocks continue to get hit is something that I'm worried about. I think we need to keep watching. What did we hear about from the consumers from Lowell? Of course, we heard what more concern about demand and more concern about the bare necessities, as I talked about on pre-market prep today. Everyone's just getting the necessities that they need versus getting those extra items. You're starting to see more and more slowdown. And as I think we get to the summer, will we see kind of that high travel demand? Will consumers kind of slow down? I think eventually we need to see the consumers slow down. We're all still seeing inflation around us. Will this start to turn the consumer to the point where it just feels strangled, right? We'll find out, like always, team. Will things get tight? And will we get into more recession talk? Of course, smash the like. Tomorrow, you guys get the minutes. And catch me, of course, right here, like always, on Benzinga. If you guys got any tickers, now's your chance to get them in before I wrap up the show. Michael says he got some Unity. It's not a bad one to maybe think about. But the truth is today was definitely not the ARKK day. Quick little pullback there. We get right back up towards 40. and wouldn't you know it, right back down. So we need to continue to watch this. I think this has a lot to do with kind of the turnaround in some of the growth names today, and it just got going yesterday, right? So I'm going to keep a watch on like kind of snow. Can this pull back towards 160? I would like that pullback. I wouldn't mind. Like shop with a big cut down today. If this could come back down towards 50 or 48s, I'm taking a shop. We'll see what happens on Shopify. Can it come right back down there? I do like these names, but at the end of the day, they've been really strong and starting to lose altitude. We'll see what happens out there. Let's catch up with you guys in the chat. Did you guys throw up some names? No names. I see no stocks. So that means I'm going to go ahead and take a look there. Oh, take a peek at Costco. Ooh, Costco's been losing that altitude real quick. And I think of this, you need to watch the monthlies. The monthlies are very important for Costco. And I was talking about how really I would not want it to break like kind of 477. Below that, we could come back and test 450s. That would be not the type of look that you're looking for, right? And so I'm going to keep watch on here, but it doesn't look the best right now. It looks like it's kind of rejecting that 500 breakout to the upside, and now wants to come back down to the support. If you look at the weekly, you can see how we pulled back towards this kind of support here. We really need a quick move back through 495. That's what I would look at. Of course, you choose your own levels, but if I could see that quick move back through 495, I think we could just reverse right back through 500 and get to the 520s. What is it going to take? It's going to take a really good earnings report to shake things up, because right now we're seeing what? We're seeing bad earnings reports from retail. But did they lower the bar enough where this gets it higher? Today we saw what? BJ report, right? This is the stock that tells me I'm a little bit scared even more for Costco. But did they lower the bar enough is the question. BJ's got really smacked today and continued to get smacked today in the intraday. And it wasn't the worst report, but definitely what is this showing me? That you could see Costco take a hit also. So that's why I'm not taking that trade right now. I think, like always, it's up to you guys to determine if you guys want to take it, an earnings trade or not. But we'll see what happens in Costco. BJ just gives me a little bit of a scary sight, because this chart was actually looking really well. It was looking like it wanted to get to 80. And when you see these kind of fake outs, and what is this? I'll show you guys right now. I don't even like talking about this too much, guys. 1, 2, 3. I talk about this way too much, man. Give the gold. 3 times to go through the highs, right? I talk about it. If we don't get through on that 4th attempt, a lot of the times, what do I see? I see pullbacks right back to support, even long-term support. What do we get here? We get 3 attempts. The stock pulls back. It rears up one more time, gives you that lift into the move. This is where you're expecting to break out. And what do you get? Rejection. Once that rejection happens, I'm looking for support to come into play. Instantly made a move there towards 70, consolidated, and went lower. This doesn't look good anymore. All right, we'll see what else is going on there. And the rule of 3, baby. You know it. Rule of 3. The 4th is the golden number. No, really what happens there is number 4, and you guys can look this up in Japan, is kind of like an unlucky symbol, right? In the 3 is the lucky number, right? Unlucky is 4. There's a reason why, man. RTX, bro. I got you, Tom. RTX, of course, it's going to look similar to like kind of like Lockheed Martin, where it has a lot of topping and coming back towards longer term support. So I would look at a monthly, and you can see here how you reject it. And this doesn't look the best, right? These rejections are not looking good, right? You got about 3 rejections there. So you could pull back all the way towards support. Support could be back down towards 90s, or it could hold here a little bit closer. You can see recently we held around 93.59. Of course, there's an even further one towards 80, but we're not going to talk about that one. Let's go to the weeklies, right? Let's see what happened there last time. So you can see here how this stock tried to break out once, pulled back, tried to break out twice, tried to break out 3 times, and now is rejecting the 4th move. Do they really don't like 4? I mean, you see this. I don't talk about this. I almost don't like to. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, look at this. 1, 2, 3. On the 4th attempt, what happens? Fail. Where does the stock go? To support, baby. Rule of 3, guys. You tell me what you guys think about this. Let me know if you guys see it. Am I crazy? Or does the rule of 3 come into play? I'll see you next time, team. Smash the like. Hope you enjoyed it today.